everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashley if you're new here, and today I'm going to be doing the end of year tag. I already posted my 10 before the end video very recently, and then I decided I wanted to do the end of year tag still. I purposely tried very hard to not have overlapping books. I believe there might be 1 or 2 overlapping books, but I tried to really keep them separate. If you do want to watch my 10 before the end video, I'll have it linked below. But the difference is the end of year tag has some questions and prompts, whereas the 10 before the end doesn't. So it was really fun picking books to fit the questions, and let's just get started. So the first question is, are there any books that you started this year that you need to finish? And this one was on my 10 before the end, but it's Kingdom of Ash. This one I have no excuse for other than I just do not want the emotional damage. I was not in a good place over the spring and summer and fall to be dealing with what I've seen this book causes people to feel by the end. So I did get to 75% of the way through, and then I had to go back to part 2 twice now. So now I'm back at the beginning of part 2, and I am going to finish this before the end of the year. I have to, and there's just no ifs, ands, or buts. I will be finishing this before the end of the year. The next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? So for this one, I'm pretty much done with fall books. I'm already in winter holiday reads. So for this one, I don't really have any that I'm personally going to be reading. If I hadn't already read this, I would pick Spells for Forgetting. This one has immaculate fall to winter transition vibes. It's very dark and moody and rainy. It takes place in an island off the coast of Washington, I believe, and it's just very moody, and the vibes are just immaculate to fit this question. In this one, we have our main character Emery, and she grew up on the island I mentioned before, and when she was in high school, her best friend was unalived, and the love of her life, Augustus, was accused of doing it. And then her and her mom, I think, fled the island, and they never went back. However, her mom passes away and she wants to spread her ashes on the island. So it's her first time back after all of these years, and you just kind of get the creepiness of the island. It's super gloomy, dark, rainy. There's just so much mystery, and I absolutely love this. I read this one after The Unmaking of June Farrow because they're both by Adrienne Young. They're both very different from each other, but I still love this one almost as much as The Unmaking of June Farrow. The next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? And for this one, I don't think so. I was looking at some lists for December new releases, and there aren't really any that I'm super highly anticipating. There are a lot of books coming out in January and the beginning of February that I'm very excited for. I did get an arc of A Monsoon Rising, which is the sequel to the Hurricane Wars. This one comes out on December 10th. It would absolutely be the answer for this if I hadn't already read it. If you liked the Hurricane Wars, I don't think you're gonna be disappointed by this one at all. It definitely didn't have second book syndrome. I really like this one, and I would highly recommend it. The next question is, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? So for this one, I chose 3 books that are not on my 10 before the end, but I still really want to get to them before the end of the year. The first one is for obvious reasons because it's a holiday book, so I want to finish it before January, and that is The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. This one I am so excited for. The cover is so cute. I love this art style on covers, and I read The Blonde Identity by this author, and I really like that one. I haven't heard a lot about it. I've seen it everywhere, but I haven't heard a lot about it, but it is still the end of November, so I'm hoping I like it. This one seems to be a cozy mystery. In this one, we have our 2 main characters, Maggie and Ethan. They're both authors. Maggie writes cozy mysteries, and Ethan is a big thriller author. They're both invited to this big estate by their biggest fan named Eleanor. However, then they're snowed in, they can't leave. At some point, Eleanor goes missing. This one sounds like it would be really fun. It's pretty short, and if it has the same kind of humor and style as The Blonde Identity, I think I'm going to really like it. The next one is The Lost Daughter, and I'm buddy reading this with a friend of mine. She really likes lit fic. I think she only reads lit fic, and I don't really read much lit fic at all, but we're buddy reading this one. It's extremely short. I don't know what it's about. I have zero idea, but I want to go in relatively blind, especially since it is a genre I don't normally go toward. There are a few lit fic books that I've read, but I definitely wouldn't say it's in my top 3 or 5 most read genres at all. There's probably less than a handful of lit fic books that I've read, so I'm really excited to read this with her and discuss it. Lastly is a book that's the first in a series. It's been around for a while. However, the series was just re-released with beautiful new covers, and I've been seeing them everywhere on booktube and bookstagram. Everyone is reading this series, and that is An Ember in the Ashes. I have seen this absolutely everywhere. and I've seen people just falling in love with this whole series. I have seen nothing but amazing things about this on booktube and bookstagram. Some of my favorite booktubers and bookstagrammers are reading this series and just like losing their mind. In this one, our main character is named like Leia or Laya, I'm not sure, but she lives under this very like strict regime, and her family are just like living under it. They don't really do too much about it. However, then I believe her brother is arrested or something like that. I could be completely butchering this. However, then she like seeks out rebels, or she finds rebels, or maybe they approach her. I'm not sure, but there's something about like a rebellion against this like really bad regime, and I think this is going to be a super fun read. I think there's only 4 in this series, but like I've said, I have heard nothing but just crazy good things, so I'm extremely excited to read this. The next question is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? I actually don't know what my favorite book of the year is just off the top of my head. I'm gonna have to like go through and look at what I've read this year. I want to do like a big yearly wrap-up video type of thing, and so that will all be there. But I think based on hype alone, it could be An Ember in the Ashes or Beartown. This book also has like just a ton of fans. Like, people are in a chokehold over this book and this trilogy. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I've heard it's extremely emotional. I want to read it in the winter because it's set in a small town where the hockey team is basically the whole life of the town. The town revolves around this hockey team. An attack happens and the whole town is just kind of like shook. That's really all I know about it, but I am very much looking forward to reading this one. I think this could probably be my favorite of the year based on just everything I've heard about it, based on the hype, and also based on people who I normally agree with really loving it. So I'm nervous to read it, but really looking forward to it. The last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2025? And the answer is no. I haven't, but I really want to. I really want to start maybe doing some planning or some just like casual thinking about it. I don't really have any clue as to what I want to do or my goals, not just in terms of like how much I read, but also what I'm reading and just a wide variety of things that I really want to think over. So I have not started making plans for 2025. I'm really looking forward to watching videos near the end of the year where people are posting their plans for 2025, and hopefully I can get some inspiration and some ideas. Okay, so this is the end of my year-end book tag video. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun with these prompts. I love doing tag videos because of all the questions and prompts and just really thinking about which books I think would fit, and I go through the list and I like remove some, add some, change stuff around, and I just have a lot of fun with it. I have a ton of sit down and vlog ideas from now until the end of the year, and I'm really excited to be filming them. So hopefully I will see you guys again soon. Bye.